I almost died on that mountain. Not because of the weather, not because I was unprepared, because my best friend left me there. He walked away. He looked back once, just once, and kept going. And when I got home, he'd already told everyone it was me who ran. My name, Marcus, and this is the story of how I made sure he never lied again. Kyle and I had been friends since college, 11 years. 11 years of road trips, late nights, cheap beer, and the kind of trust you don't question. He was the guy at my side when my dad passed. I was the one who drove 4 hours to help him move after his divorce. That's the kind of friendship we had. Or so I thought. We'd done hikes before, day trails mostly, nothing serious. But that summer, Kyle pushed for something bigger, a 4-day backcountry route in the mountains. Remote, beautiful, no cell service past the first ridge. I was hesitant. He called me soft. I laughed and started packing my bag. We set out on a Tuesday morning. The first 2 days were perfect. Crisp air, breathtaking views, the kind of silence you only find when civilization is truly behind you. Kyle was in good spirits. We talked about everything. Life, regrets, where we'd be in 10 years. I remember thinking, this is exactly what we needed. I had no idea it was the last real conversation we would ever have. Day 3. The trail narrowed along a ridgeline. Loose rock, steep drop on one side. It happened fast. My boot caught an edge. My ankle twisted, a sharp, violent snap, and I went down hard. My knee hit the rock, my pack shifted and dragged me sideways. I grabbed at the ground, stopped myself from going over the edge, and just lay there. The pain was immediate, deep. I knew it wasn't just a sprain. Kyle was maybe 20 feet ahead. He turned around when he heard me fall. He came back, he crouched down, he looked at my ankle, which had already started swelling inside my boot, and I saw something change in his face. Not concern, not that focused, calm energy you want from someone who loves you. Fear, pure, selfish fear. He stood up, he said, and I will never forget this. He said, "I need to go get help. You'll be okay here." I told him to leave me the emergency whistle, to at least stay close. I reminded him we had a satellite beacon in his pack. He said he'd move faster without it. He took his pack, he left the trail marker, and he walked away. I called after him. I told him to wait. I told him I couldn't put weight on my leg. He didn't stop. The sound of his boots on the gravel faded, and then there was nothing. Just wind, just the mountain, just me. I won't dramatize what that night felt like. I don't need to. Temperature dropped to near freezing. I had my sleeping bag, 2 protein bars, and about half a liter of water. The ankle had swollen so badly I had to cut my bootlace to keep circulation going. I activated the beacon, the one Kyle was supposed to carry. Luckily, I'd packed a backup in my own kit. I waited. I tried not to think about how easily he could have stayed, how we'd hiked past 2 other groups that morning, how there was a ranger station maybe 6 miles back. Instead, I thought about the look on his face, that cold, calcified moment where he made a choice. He chose himself, without hesitation. Search and rescue found me the next morning. 2 hikers had spotted my position and flagged the nearest ranger. My ankle was fractured, my knee was badly bruised. I spent 3 days in a mountain clinic before I could travel home. 3 days alone with nothing but my thoughts. I landed back home on a Saturday. By Sunday, I had 17 missed messages. Not from people checking if I was okay, from people asking what had happened to Kyle. Apparently, while I was lying on a mountain trail waiting for rescue, Kyle had already reached civilization, called our friend group, and told them I had a mental breakdown on the trail and vanished, that he had searched for hours, that he was devastated, that he'd tried everything. He posted about it on Instagram, a photo of himself at the trailhead looking somber with a caption about the importance of mental health awareness and never truly knowing what your friends are going through. There were 240 comments. People were consoling him. I sat in my living room, leg elevated, reading all of it, and I felt something shift inside me. Not anger, not yet. Something quieter, colder. I thought, okay, Kyle, you want to play this game? Let's play. Here's the thing about Kyle. He was careless because he was always sure people would believe him. He was charming, outgoing. He volunteered at a wilderness survival club on weekends, actual irony, and had recently been promoted to team lead at his outdoor equipment company, where he gave talks about leadership under pressure. I'm not exaggerating. The man sold himself as someone who thrives in crisis. So I started quietly. No public accusations, no emotional posts. First, I pulled the GPS data from my hiking tracker. Every step of the route, time-stamped. It showed exactly when Kyle's pace increased, exactly when he accelerated away from my position, exactly when he reached cell service and made not a single emergency call for 47 minutes. 47 minutes. He had signal. He called 3 friends before he called the ranger station. Second, I contacted the 2 hikers who found me. Both were willing to give written statements about the condition I was in and the location they found me, which was precisely where the GPS data said I'd been since the fall. Third, and this was the piece that mattered most, I reached out to the rescue team coordinator. She confirmed the timeline. She confirmed the beacon activation came from my device. She confirmed that Kyle's call to their station was logged 49 minutes after he had signal. I had everything. I didn't confront Kyle. I didn't warn him. I built a simple document. Clean, clear, time-stamped, GPS trail data, rescue logs, witness statements, side-by-side comparison of his Instagram narrative and the actual sequence of events. I posted it to the regional hiking and outdoors group, 12,000 members, including most of our mutual friends and the entire leadership team of his wilderness volunteer club. I posted it to LinkedIn, tagged his company. I emailed his manager directly, not to destroy him, I said, but because his company's brand was built on trust, leadership under pressure, and wilderness expertise, and their team lead's recent conduct seemed relevant. I did not yell, I did not call him names. I let the data speak. The response was immediate. The hiking group erupted. People who had trusted Kyle with their safety on group trips started re-examining things. His volunteer club suspended him pending a review. His company put him on administrative leave within 72 hours. His girlfriend, who had also been among the 240 Instagram commenters praising his strength, called me 2 days later. She had questions. I answered them honestly. She broke up with him a week later. Kyle reached out eventually. Of course he did. He said I'd overreacted, that he'd panicked and made a mistake, that destroying someone's life over one bad decision was monstrous. I thought about the night on the mountain, the temperature, the silence, the look on his face when he stood up and walked away. I thought about 240 people calling him brave. I wrote back 2 sentences. I said, "You didn't make a mistake. You made a choice, and then you made another one when you lied. I just made sure the truth was louder." I never heard from him again. I don't need the last word. I just needed the true one. Here's what I learned from it all. Betrayal doesn't always come from enemies. It almost never does. It comes from people who have seen you at your worst and quietly filed it away, waiting for the moment it becomes useful to them. Kyle didn't panic because he was weak. He panicked because when it mattered, I was simply less important than his own comfort. That's a specific kind of cold, the kind that wears a warm face for years. The mountain didn't break me. He didn't break me either. And the truth, it turned out to be remarkably durable. If this story hits something in you, if you've ever had someone rewrite the truth about you, or felt what it's like to be left behind by someone you trusted, drop your story in the comments. I read every single one. And if you're new here, subscribe. Every story on this channel is real, raw, and told exactly the way it happened. I'll see you in the next one.